Board of Management meeting. So thanks everyone for joining us. And I'd like to welcome Jen Yake. There you are. You're kind of in the dark there. Tonight, who is everyone I don't think needs an introduction, but from the pharmacy, and is going to help us out with some ideas she had for a streetwide promotion of like a sidewalk sale. So what I'm going to do is go through the formal kind of bits of this agenda, and then I'd like to move Jen's participation up to the top, if that's all right. So let's go right ahead, if you can hear me, into the approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the Creemore Business Improvement Area Management Board hereby approves the agenda dated August 11th, 2020 as presented.
I approve.
I approve.
I would actually like to add something. So in that sort of spirit, somewhere, okay, number 7, events, which says sidewalk sale. If possible, I would like to move that right up to after approval of the minutes, if that's okay, because I appreciate
bounce.
I know Jen probably has other things she's got to do tonight rather than go through a lot of our details. Okay, so if that's all right with you guys, that's my only oh, and the other thing I wanted to change, Kayla, was after number 9, the financial report. I think it just got cut off on my thing. Is it called marketing report number 10?
Yes, you have marketing after in number 10. It is on the 2nd page.
Okay, and I'd just like to add the digital service squad into the marketing report as well. Okay, and those are my only changes to the agenda, if that's okay with everyone. So has everyone approved those changes? And
sorry, did Nancy want to add, oh, her recommendations for the official plan are on there. Sorry, Nancy. I should have sent that information to you. My bad. So just matter of process, I have Heather's moving to amend the agenda or accept it as amended. And seconded by Nancy.
Perfect.
Sorry, I missed that. Thank you.
Everyone's in favor. Yes, it was Nancy, and everyone's in favor. Okay, I think it's motion carried there. So approval of disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. Would anybody like to disclose a conflict of interest or pecuniary interest at this time? Raise your hand, Sarah.
In the sidewalk sale, we're talking about promotion and advertising with the Creemore Echo. I will have a conflict of interest, so I will if that has to be discussed.
Okay, how would you like to deal with that?
Michaela can give us. I mean, I don't.
Do you have to leave the meeting at that time, or do we just do you just not participate?
In the past, Kayla has recommended that I can whatever we're comfortable with as a board.
I'm comfortable with you staying. I have
she's disclosed it.
That's right. I have some thoughts on the promotion, and so, you know, I'm comfortable.
No, I agree. I will just mark that you won't participate in the vote, Sarah. It's difficult to have you leave the meeting when it's done electronically this way. So I'll make a note of it and it'll be recorded in the minutes.
Okay, thanks, Kayla. Okay, anybody else have any sort of disclosures? Okay, so just as a point of, just to make the meeting go faster, because I know all of you guys, it's a beautiful night, and I know lots of people have other stuff they have to get doing tonight. So what we'll do is, if anybody wants to talk, just sort of raise up your hand so I can see you, and then we'll try to get it going a little faster so that we're not all talking at the same time. Okay, so let's move on to approval of the minutes, the June 9th minutes that Kayla sent out to us, and special meeting minutes from July 17th, which was the bicycle parking meeting that we had. Can I get anyone to approve the minutes? Sarah? And can I get a seconder? Heather? And everyone in favor, which is me and Nancy? Okay, perfect. So, so the minutes have been approved. So I'd like to jump right in then to street decor, sorry, not street decor, events update. And we're gonna welcome Jen into the discussion about events. So Jen and I had a drink about a week or so ago and talked about what we can do to help businesses in the summer sale in lieu of, you know, all the events that we've had in the past. how do we help businesses promote themselves, get a little bit more traffic going. And Jen had seen something that she forwarded to me, I think it was from Mount Forest, and it was kind of a neat kind of idea. They had this sort of social distance sidewalk sale, and I think I've spoken to all of you sort of one-on-one about it in the last week. And it's a great idea. You know, it would really help our businesses. I understand, I'm totally for it, but then I have come to understand that there are some issues involved in having what we call sort of an event. So we have to be very mindful of the public health recommendations right now and what we can and can't do. So I've been fortunate enough to have conversations with Heather, conversations with Amanda. Both are event professionals, and really opened my eyes into what can and can't be done and the measures that we have to take right now, and how potentially difficult some of these things can be. So Jen, I'd love to hear from you just for a couple of minutes, like your thoughts in terms of how you got the idea, where it started from, where you are now after seeing some of the messages and emails and things.
Well, Mount Forest actually had their first one last weekend. So I saw pictures from that, and it just looked, honestly, it just looked like a big street sale. So I didn't see, I didn't see any restaurants, any pictures of any restaurants. What I was thinking is, I didn't know if the restaurants could actually maybe extend their patio a little bit.
Mount Forest doesn't really have any restaurants on the main street. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't remember. I haven't been through there in probably 10 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
My
dad lives there. There's no
I was hoping, I'm not going to lie, for maybe a little bit of entertainment on the street, but I know that that can't happen, so that's fine. But
it can happen with the right measures, like plastic hanging from a tent, like we saw at Chez Michel.
Okay. Okay.
You can have, what do you mean?
So one of the things where entertainment's a good idea. You can't have entertainment with singing unless the proper measures are in place. So for example, Chez Michel on Friday, they had the 10 by 10 tent with music and singing, but they had a plastic shield that went in front of the tent.
Okay.
So that's one of the things. I think Sarah would know more about that too, because she worked with the music. There's one of those, the health regulations.
I think the easiest way to deal with that is just eliminate singing. If you wanted music, I mean, you could have buskers with a stipulation that you just are not like instrumental, if that's important, and if you can find the performer at this late date. That to me seems the easiest way.
Acoustic.
Yeah, like an acoustic, no vocals. But I also, I think that that's one consideration, but the other consideration is that when you have music, you have gathering. And, I think when we put anything out there like that, we have to be really conscientious about physical distancing. So for the risk to benefit seems limited to me. I think,
Okay.
we all want to do something fun right now, but I just don't know if we want to manage the risk. We would hate to be the BIA that tried to have something fun and ended up getting people killed. You know.
Yeah.
Thoughts. I've had a lot of time to think about this as well, and I totally agree with all of what both of you are saying. So how do we mitigate this? So then I was thinking, what if we don't make it an event? What if we make it just a promotion? And I think this is something Heather and I were talking about, and that we just do sort of a summer sale or end of summer sale. We don't close the road. Everybody's sort of responsible for putting out what they want on their sidewalk. If they want to do a tent or a table or something, it's up to them.
Food.
Or food if it's street food. But again, those restaurants would have to manage their own, situation, whatever it is.
And they know the rules because
Yeah.
they're not going to chat. They're not going to compromise their business.
Oh. And so maybe we do that, and then we just bring more of it into, and this is where we get into posters, echo ads, social media boosting, updating the website. Maybe we do an Instagram giveaway where people can come and pick up their item at the sale. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like, what if we just did a summer sale that sort of like everybody is coordinated, but we're not really promoting it as an event with the street closed and music, because you're right, that kind of turns us into an event versus just a promotion.
Yeah, maybe summer closing event or summer, end of summer.
End of summer sale. Like it literally could be as simple as that.
I think sale is better than event.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then I'm also would love to suggest that we move it because I've sort of, because of all this and me trying to come to terms with all the nitty gritty details that I'm learning about every day. I think, Jen, I know we talked about the 22nd, but I think now we need to look a little later.
29th.
I think Sarah had mentioned the 20th.
So then it's the 29th and then it's the long weekend, right?
29th, yeah.
How do you guys feel about the 29th if we did sort
I'm
of
okay with that.
Yeah.
like a
I think that's for,
Sarah's hand, yeah.
I know Sarah and Patrick at Home Hardware felt really strongly that the 29th would work better for them because then they can do special ordering and get all of their codes and everything in order. So just if any of us can kind of take advantage of some of our suppliers' sales too for end of summer, you know, that gives us a couple weeks if we want.
Gives us some time. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Okay, so if we can agree on that, maybe we can make a motion to start a small committee of just people that we get together and we approve like echo ads, posters. Basically what we're gonna do is a marketing. I think that's all we're gonna be responsible for is marketing. I'm not gonna
I think that's safe for us.
tables or musicians, unfortunately. If a store wants to put out some music, some speakers or some music, I'd be fine with that. Amanda had a good idea. She said, what if we did a Creemore playlist and, you know, we could somehow pipe the music up and down the street with speakers. I don't know if that's possible.
Speakers.
Yeah, I could get the evening hall sound system probably.
Oh, wow. That might be weather dependent or where would we?
Yeah, it would be weather dependent. I mean, and it's not a big deal. It can be done or not done. So, you know, that's easy and cheap. There's no cost associated.
Okay, that would be awesome.
I think music is really nice. I see Jen nodding as well. Do you have any comments, Jen? I just want to make sure I'm.
No, I think that would be awesome. I think it creates
And we
nice
have a sound
atmosphere.
system too that's not big, but it would be good for our block, I think.
Heather, sorry, I think it's hard to hear, but I think Jen was talking.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Hello, Doug. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Thank you.
Doug, I'll just catch up quickly. We're just starting. We moved number 7, the events, up to the beginning of the agenda because we're welcoming Jen from the pharmacy. I'm pointing to her like
I'm across the room.
she's right here. So Jen is here because she had the idea and I wanted to make sure that we were capturing her ideas and her thoughts
Stole the idea.
for a summer sale. So what we're talking about, Doug, and I think where we've sort of come to, I think agreement in that we don't want to do an event because we don't want to be seen as doing an event that's going to attract people or have any sort of issues with gatherings. We don't want to get into gatherings of more than 100 and trying to control that, nor porta potties, nor hand washing, hand sanitizing stations. It's just going to make our lives very complex. So what we think I've landed on, and if you guys are all agreeing, I think we all do, that we basically make it a marketing event where it's a Creemore summer sale and each store or business or restaurant takes the onus of either participating or not. Hopefully they all do. And we do the marketing. The BIA just agrees to do marketing around it. And we form a committee to get together to do the marketing. And we do echo advertising. Again, I'm pointing to Sarah, sorry. I'm gonna stop pointing to people. Echo advertising, social media boosting, and posters.
Doing the poster, Sarah?
And when are you thinking of having it?
I think that's where we were just talking about when you came on. We had originally hoped to have it on the 22nd, but now because it's been a bit of a learning curve for a lot of us, it looks like the 29th, I think, is going to be this Saturday.
Would have been Copper
Okay.
Kettle.
It would have been Copper Kettle, which is
Copper Kettle. So it would be nice to do something for Copper Kettle. So can I make a motion then to strike a committee? I think that's what I have to do. Right, Taylor?
I'm nodding. I'm like, yes.
I've prepared a draft motion for you, just hearing what you've been saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. That's not a problem. A motion to create a summer sidewalk sale marketing committee to promote summer sidewalk sale for August 29th, 2020.
Perfect. Perfect. Do we have someone who would like to put the motion forward?
Sure. Nancy.
I'll do that.
Doug. Perfect. And do we have a seconder? It has to be Nancy or Heather because Sarah's not going to. Okay, Nancy.
I thought Nancy already did.
Sorry, if you did, I missed your hand. I apologize. Okay, so all in favor? Okay, so that's carried. So Jen, thank you so much for bringing it forward to us.
Thank you, everyone.
Who wants to be on the committee now? Who wants to lead it?
Go on the committee.
Jen, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll help.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Oh, Jackie's in.
She's sort of.
Jackie.
Hey, sorry.
No worries. Jackie, we just decided to form a committee because we're going to have a sidewalk sale, sort of sidewalk promotion sale, August 29th. It's a Saturday. It's not going to be an event because we are moving away from events right now in light of COVID and some of the measures that are put forward in public health. So we're going to have a promotion, which the onus will be on the business, and we will take on the role as marketing of a day's sale. Let's see how it goes. If it works, we'll do another one in September.
Yeah, why not?
We keep doing these things if it's successful and businesses feel they get something out of it. Okay, so the committee.
Jen is leading it. Jen is leading it. Is
Yeah.
Jen leading it? Yes.
Jen, you're comfortable with that?
I'm okay with that.
Perfect. Okay, so Jen will be the sort of head honcho here, and who is going to be part of the committee? I certainly will.
I will.
Nancy, Heather.
Whatever you need me to do.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then we'll call on Heather for, sorry, Sarah for her expertise at the Echo to be able to put some ads in there. Okay, so let us know when you're available to meet. Jen, if you want to do it by conference call or socially distanced outside in person, that's okay too. All right. Thanks.
Okay, I'll send
Sorry.
you some dates. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for participating, for helping us out.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Take care. All right, guys. So thank you for that. I'm going to move right along here, if that's okay. Now, we didn't talk about business arising from the minutes, and these were the minutes from last week. Number 5.1 is the Santa float. I would like to propose to you guys, it's been on our agenda since March, and I'm pretty concerned that we haven't moved the needle at all on this. I'd like to propose that we put a small ad together in the Echo that sort of says, you know, we've got we need help finding Santa float a home. I don't know if this makes sense. And see if anybody comes forward, might have a barn or might be interested in taking care of it, or might just want to help out the community and wants to get involved and haven't been involved before. What do you think, Sarah? I know that you're
familiar with it. I wouldn't say, I think that we would have to make a decision to purchase the float before we
Find it a home.
to find a home, because if you put that information out into the community and John hasn't seen us make an effort to purchase, he'll be wondering what's happening. So
Decide to purchase it or not?
we have not made a decision to purchase, from what I understand. I think we spoke to the municipality with the hopes that they would purchase in store, and the feedback from Doug Measures was no. So I think that there has to be a decision in terms of the purchase. I think that they were looking for
It's kind of a chicken and an egg thing, isn't it, Sarah?
Sorry?
Like, it's a chicken and an egg thing, isn't it? So maybe who has the connection with the man who has it for sale? Like, I would maybe have just a quick conversation with him, say, we're going to put it out there and look for a home. And with the hopes, if we find a home, then the idea is to purchase it.
Well, the township's not going to purchase it. Are we going to purchase it as a BIA?
I think we have to decide whether we have the money. I agree, it is a chicken and egg thing, like in terms of the practicality. But I think what we do need is a resolution if we are going to purchase it. Like in the end, if we can kind of figure out the logistics of it, do we want to spend $2,000 purchasing this? Do we want to offer them a different amount? Like, that's something I think we need to know before we try to actually house this thing. So I guess that's on the table. I don't think it's a concern in terms of money. You know, we do have money in the bank. So if it's something that we want and we want to maintain the tradition of that particular float, then I think a resolution to add this to spending is really easy to do, and it would get us at least moving forward with this. We would have the float, and then, or we'd have the ability to purchase the float if we can figure out the logistics.
So I agree with you, Sarah. What if we did a motion to like a conditional offer that we say, if we're able to find appropriate storage, then we will purchase the float?
Yeah.
Do you want to negotiate a price with him, or do you just want to give him his asking price?
I'm not a haggler. Jackie, maybe this would be a better job for you. I'm terrible. I don't know what I'm like, oh no, I should give you $3,000.
We'll send our chief negotiator, Sarah, into this.
I'm too soft to touch.
Well, I'm happy to contact him and have a chat about pricing. And if somebody wants to send me his contact information.
Yeah, I can do that. And
Okay.
do you
Conditional about finding storage. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I think some people were talking at the same time. Kayla.
Okay.
All right, I've prepared a draft motion.
Yay.
Again, I'm fine to be corrected, so please throw it at me. The draft motion is a motion to approve spending up to such and such amount, conditional on securing adequate storage.
Yeah.
Love it. So shall we say conditional, I mean, up to $2,000? Is that?
Yeah, that's what he wants, right?
Yeah.
But
Is
Jackie's
there
gonna
gonna be a-
get it down.
Oh, everyone's talking. Sorry. Raise your hand if you need to talk. Because
sorry.
Jackie,
Is-
yeah.
Is there going to be a Santa Claus parade this Christmas? Is that with COVID? Is that a possibility, or?
You're right.
No. Okay.
Who knows? Maybe
One
not.
thing,
Right now, I can't think that we will unless it everything changes. But right now, I don't think we will.
I don't know.
I guess you could always use the sleigh downtown and have Santa there and have like a promotional sidewalk Christmas sale. If you.
Yeah. Okay.
Have your Instagram photo with the sleigh. Mm-hmm.
So
With a whole bunch of reindeer instead of just one this time.
Jackie, would you like to put that motion forward that Kayla just wrote?
I would like to put the motion forward.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion?
Me.
Nancy? Yeah. And all in favor of spending the money conditional on storage? Yeah,
Me.
that's unanimous. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so at least we're moving the needle on that one. Garbage. So I don't know, this sort of floats around on the agenda as well. I don't know, Sarah, if she and Michelle contacted you this week. They're quite concerned about their recycling. So maybe it's time to open this back up. But I know with COVID, there's been a whole bunch of issues, and that's why we didn't open it up.
So I guess it started with us saying no garbage. Then when every other week became an issue for our members, and we considered then kind of going back to that $75 buy a key situation. I contacted the garbage company, and they're no longer willing to let us cut our own key. We have to use the existing keys. So it means that there will still be these mystery keys out there.
I thought we changed the law.
We can't now. They won't let.
I thought we changed like 3-4 months ago. I've got a key. Oh.
So they, after we discussed it and we said, okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to change the lock and we're going to sell the keys. Then I contacted the garbage company, and they're no longer willing to do that for us because during COVID, we have multiple drivers on different routes, whereas before they only had one committed driver to our route. So they just can't manage the logistics of it right now. So, so we won't be eliminating the issue around people having access to the key that we're unaware of, but we could still try and recoup some money with cutting keys and giving the members that are looking to dispose garbage, and have increased the pickup to weekly recycling. I continue to remind everybody, recycling, they manage it. So even if recycling goes into the bin, it will be properly sorted. So yeah, so we can move ahead. I can sell those keys. We can cut some keys. I currently don't have the existing key.
I do.
Oh,
I only have the old key. I don't have the new key. Or I mean, I only have the new key. I don't have the old key.
I think I only have the new key too.
I have a key, but I don't know what it is.
I think,
I
okay,
don't have a key.
yeah, so all the people,
But I don't know for sure. We have to check.
so what I'll
The old key, Jackie, for sure.
Hold on, let's, sorry, Sarah.
What I will do then is I will work with Steve Davenport. He has a key. It's the right key, and I can get a few cut, and they can be for sale for $75. I think we need to communicate with our membership that that's available, and it's a $75 annual fee. So they'll be expected to pay annually. So what I can do is follow up with them each year with an invoice if they want to.
Great.
Would you be kind enough to draft some of those bullet points into a MailChimp, Sarah? And I'd be happy to make a newsletter, well, one of my little bulletins, whatever you call them, out to the membership.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So do we need a motion on that, or can we just go forward? That's going to be our action item.
I feel like you guys have already passed.
I did. I think
This
we have.
motion.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to move on then, if that's okay with you guys, to 5.3 reopening. I'm not quite sure what this was. I don't think I put it on the agenda. Does anyone have something to discuss here?
We can't really,
It could be me, but I don't know if I can't recall what it was.
well, we can't reopen till the government tells us we can reopen, so.
Reopen. I think I put it on, I've been putting it on every single agenda for all the boards and committees as of late, as we did enter into stage 3, and there was the option for some of the hall boards to reopen, and it's been a pretty big topic of discussion amongst the hall boards. So I think I might have just in agenda mode put that on there. So
Okay, so I'm going to defer that then till we talk about new business, which is public washrooms at the station on the green. So maybe we'll put those two things together, if that's okay, Kayla. Okay, then if that's all right with you guys, I'm looking forward to street decor. Nancy, did you have an update for
Kind of,
us?
the planters are gorgeous. Colorado loves it because they are, and I'm not yelling at them every second week. Lori and I were just talking last week about ordering the Christmas trees, but I think we have to get ones that are a little bit bigger than we did last year. So I think they're looking at, is it $22 a tree?
I believe
They're like 5 feet.
Yes.
So we'll put that in this week. I can probably order them tomorrow. And we're also thinking I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, but we're going to get solar lights and put them in the trees. There's 28 trees downtown, and we can get solar lights from the Home Hardware. They're going to give us a discount, of course. And then we got a hold of the Tree Society, and they're totally keen, but they won't be able to put them in until October, which is fine because then it's night and whatever. It'll be darker in October, and it'll be like a October, November, Christmas kind of thing. And then, yes, that'll be between the Christmas trees for, well, the fall. I don't know what we're going to do in the fall yet, but the Christmas trees will go in, and we'll have solar lights in all the trees. It'll be gorgeous. And that's all I have to say.
And I think just we should just mention, just for the record, that Mara had sent an update to us based on the last council meeting and a report that Burnside Consulting did. In that, Jackie will appreciate this, all those years of trying to put things on the poles, the EPCOR Collis hydro poles, we finally, after 8 months of consultation, have an answer, and the answer is no.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, we can't even put up flags. They said the flags won't even be. They'll vibrate too much on the poles. The poles are too old, and it'll all come tumbling down. So we can't even put those flags up anymore.
So something
Insane. Like you look at how many small towns have old poles and have flags and have lights.
Ridiculous.
It's
we just
ridiculous.
I'm gonna keep going after with the banners though, because I think we should be able to do banners. We had banners not that long ago.
We had them for the torch run for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyways,
This is something that Jackie started several years ago, and that Nancy and I just followed up with. So we did put in a serious conversation with Mara, who paid for a whole consulting study with Burnside Consulting, spent months, I don't know, looking at our poles, and then to just discover we can no longer put lights, banners, or anything attached to the poles, no decorations, anything. So that's where we're coming with solar lights for the trees, and see how that works. And the planters obviously will be lighted. And do we still want wreaths or anything like that? Or Heather,
I was just thinking, in addition to the solar lights for the trees, Should we do a note out to the businesses saying that we're getting these solar lights, and if we want additional ones to go along and match?
Well, they can just walk across the street to the Home Hardware.
Yeah.
Just to encourage it instead of going and getting your own, so
Yeah.
we can all be pretty together.
I could do that. I'll make sure everybody knows for sure. That's a great idea.
I'm concerned that the solar lights may not, because I know some of these sort of cheap lights that you get that are non-industrial may not last a year or two. So I'm quite worried about, but we're going to have to try it. We're going to try something.
Okay.
So that's,
I think you need Reese either if you have bigger trees and you light the bigger trees and then you have the other trees lit. I don't think you need Reese either. And budget wise.
Because the trees themselves in the 35 planters about now, the trees will be like 5 feet tall. And I'm gonna find a star that can go on top of just for the Christmas season. It comes off like, you know, January 2nd type of thing. It'll be Christmas, but it'll still be nice and we've got the buffalo plaid. We can put the buffalo plaid all over the place, so it'll be good. Okay. All right.
okay. Nancy and I are going to be going to council to Mara, who will go to council to ask for budget from the beautification for the lights.
I think she was on that already.
Okay.
She said
Maybe we'll follow up with her just to see where we're at, because
maybe you'll be able to buy better quality solar lights then too, right?
Yeah, I mean that's our hope, but I don't know.
holding her breath.
Yeah.
I'm working also with Sue Nicholson, thank you. She's looking into it for Collingwood. So I've got an email into her asking if they found a supplier that we could share.
Yeah.
Anyway, the good news is we're moving things forward on the street decor. And Christmas will look beautiful whether or not we're open.
No idea what we're doing for the fall, but I'll address that in a few weeks.
Sarah, did you have a point? Sorry, it's hard to see you. Yeah.
I know the lighting in this room is problematic. In terms of the street as it's sitting, I'm kind of noticing a lot of weeds again, and I'm just wondering if we, sorry, Nancy.
So they didn't actually pull the weeds. They just kind of pull out the big ones and put the
They first it.
They didn't really do a good job. So I'm gonna about a week's time. I'm gonna start complaining to Dan again.
And then also in between, particularly on the north part of Middle Street, along the Seasons building, there are a lot of weeds, and I don't know. I know that at the refillery they have some kind of a weed killing vinegar.
It's an industrial vinegar.
Yeah. I mean, even if we did something like asked each individual business owner and we purchased it and asked them to go out and spray in front of their buildings, I just think right now it looks pretty shabby in places. So maybe, I don't know if there's something that we could do to give some incentive for members to get out and really kind of look like, even some of the members, even in terms of sweeping on the sidewalks, it's looking a little bit tired.
Okay, so let's put that in our blast to members about just keeping the area in front of your business tidy and weed free. And I know you're right about those weeds. I've tried to pull the weeds even just down by the hydro pole in front of me, and I can't even pull them. They're right in there. So I think we need like almost like a weed whacker in some of these instances.
Well, like the spray would be great then.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's look into the spray as well.
So if we could pay for that, maybe that would help. Then
I can ask Colin if he would do it.
Do you have a price on it, Sarah?
I haven't got a price on it. Sorry.
Oh, Nancy, that's a really great idea. If we purchased it from the refillery and asked Colin if we paid him for 2 or 3 hours to go up and down the street and pull weeds and use this spray, that would be money well spent if he would participate.
So do you have a budget for that already? Do you need a motion to spend from spray?
Yeah, we will probably need a budget for that, right?
I make a motion to spend up to $500. I think it has to be done. It looks
$500.
Up to.
Yeah, because I think we'll have to do it a couple of times.
Yeah, and we'll have to remind Dan and Terry as well of our negotiation that we had about a year ago, in that we would pay for the watering of the planters if they would pay for the weeding.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Dan.
That is our agreement, and
Yeah.
we're holding up our end.
All right.
Okay, Kayla.
All right, motion. So Sarah has put forth a motion to spend up to $500 on weed removal. That way you can kind of figure out what it is that you want to do, whether it's horticultural vinegar or have so-and-so come and spray it. I just need a seconder if that is a good motion for you, Sarah.
That works for me.
Heather. Thank you.
All in favor? Yeah. Okay, so that's unanimous. Perfect.
And Nancy, you're willing to implement that, or do you need any support?
Thank you, Nancy. Anything else on street decor before we move on? Public participation. I always skip over this part. Kayla, did you have any emails for public participation?
No, I haven't received any. I keep that on there just as a formality. So it is open to the public should anyone have something. I don't even see any attendees with us, so.
Okay, so I'm going to move on then, if you don't mind, to financial report. Sarah, did you have any updates for us?
We have not been spending any money other than what we budgeted for the flowers. And Lori has started on the website, so we've spent a bit of money there. We have deposited our $10,000 levy check from the municipality, and along with a few dollars here and there for some Creemore pins, which I've been selling out of my store. If anybody else would like to purchase some of those little heart Creemore pins, they're $1.50 each. This is how we did it last time. They're $1.50 each, and I can bring them around and just invoice you. So if anybody wants those, maybe we can get to our members. I did sell some to the refillery as well.
We can buy some.
Okay, we still have lots of them, so they wholesale for $1.50 and retail for $3, and it's up to the individual businesses if they want to sell those.
Great.
Because there hasn't been that many transactions, I haven't submitted anything to the municipality, but we are in good shape and on target for budgets, so no concerns there.
Okay. Heather, are you?
Do we need a budget for marketing for the sidewalk sale, or is that part of the marketing budget?
I think Lori had talked about just rolling it into the existing marketing budget when we had a conversation, just talking generally about how it could be managed. But I think that if Lori, if you have your entire budgeting or marketing budget targeted already, then you might want to put forward a motion if you need more money.
I think we should actually.
Shouldn't be that much, really.
I probably haven't spent all the money yet, but I have to look at it because photography and some of the things that I didn't think were going to be as much money are a little more money than I expected. So maybe we should just make a motion. Sorry, I should have been more prepared.
You know what we could do, Lori, is we haven't spent any of our COVID money. So if we wanted to look at this as a COVID initiative that is supporting businesses, then I think we could cover it under that budget. And that's $3,000, and we haven't even we didn't have the initiative. This initiative.
Okay. So let's, Kayla, if it's okay with you, while we're talking about the finance section, or I don't know if maybe it has to go into our earlier motion that we put forward that we're going to spend up to 3,000 or 2,000? 2,000 maybe. I think 2,000 is more than enough, to be honest. I think 1,000 is more than enough.
Yeah. And if you just want to say if
1,500.
Yeah. And if we want to just, kind of close the loop on where that money is coming.
Something say spend up to $1,500 on promotions for the Creemore summer sale. How's that?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Kayla? Maybe add it to the earlier motion, or You have to add. Is
No,
that
I'll
okay?
create a new motion under the finance.
Okay.
Because I called it a sidewalk sale, if you guys are okay with that, to continue, and then your committee can come up with a more creative marketing fun name.
Okay.
A motion to allocate $1,500 from, is it the COVID relief fund?
Yes, it is.
Okay, from the COVID relief fund to the Creemore street sale marketing campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
And Heather, are you going to make that motion? Or Sarah, are you going to make that motion, being the finance?
Sure.
Yep. And Heather, you're going to second it?
Sure.
Great. All in favor?
Nancy.
Nancy stepped away. I think we have enough to pass anyway. Okay, Sarah, was there any? Oh, yes, you had another section here on new farm request.
Oh, so as many of you know, yet another event canceled. The new farm is putting together an alternative fundraiser, which is going to go out in the form of kind of a chef's box with some fun goodies in it. And this is going to be promoted to the over 1,000 attendees that we've had in the past at the new farm, and through channels with restaurateurs, farmers, and whatnot in Toronto. They are looking for some donors for prizing for, we're calling it golden tickets. And I thought this might be an opportunity for the Creemore BIA to funnel some money into our businesses, as well as get some promotion by creating some kind of a giveaway that the BIA would then pay out should people decide to use a gift card or something. They, you know, somebody might win a gift card and never use it too. So there might be no cost to us. But if we could target some money to make the donation, the benefit to us would be from a marketing perspective, and that we have all of these ears, people that have come to Creemore, that love Creemore, that may then use these vouchers and then they could come and spend more money. That's the goal. And it would just be a great promo. It would also be a way for us as the BIA to support local farmers as well as a food bank. So I'm trusting you guys are all really familiar with the new farm in general, so I don't have to give you any more back info. Yeah. I'm not sure that I've explained that very well, but the idea here is that we would earmark some money and then give it over to the retailer or restaurateur that receives the voucher for spending.
So,
a few questions.
The food bank, is that for the Stop Community Food Center in Toronto, or is that as they used to, they allocated some to a local food bank as well? Is that?
Yeah, so the money would all be going to Farms for Change. So that's the Farms Initiative. So there's 3 farmers, and then they distribute their food to different food banks. Yes, and in the past it has included.
mm-hmm.
I think from a perspective, I did talk to the marketing committee about this actually, and they liked the idea, but they were very unclear about what type of marketing the BIA would get. And what we were unsure about is if it's like a golden ticket, and say we put 10 golden tickets from the BIA in there. Like, does that mean we only get to market to those 10 people, or will the BIA be noticed on posters or social media? Will we get posts that will be mentioned or tagged?
Yeah. So every donor ends up with their information on all of the marketing around these boxes, and there will be social media marketing as well. We are meeting, this is all going to be taken care of by professional event planners and marketers in Toronto. This is not something that Gillian and I are doing this year. So hopefully they'll do a fantastic job of it. But on every communication would include that there's golden tickets to be won, donated by the Creemore BIA.
Okay. Thoughts from anybody else?
I think the beginning part, so I'm not really following it.
Oh, I need you to talk one at a time. Nancy.
I didn't hear the beginning of this, so I'm not really following it.
Oh, okay. Just recap. Well, alternative fundraiser for New Farm, a chef box going out to more than 1,000 attendees of New Farm in the past, looking for donors of golden tickets. So looking for the BIA to basically put a voucher in, or a gift certificate more or less, that you could spend anywhere at any business. And then that business, you in cafe and spend $100 or whatever it is, then you take this ticket that they redeem back to the Echo, and she writes you a check for $100
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
We would make it so that they're only able to redeem the voucher in one location just for ease, and then you guys can determine the amount, whether we want to do $50 or $100. But I think fewer, larger, and only in one location is probably the easiest way to administer it.
One store?
One location. So if we give out 10 tickets, then people can pick any location within any of the BIA members. They can spend that voucher at that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. So you can't spend $10 in my store and $10
Right. Yeah.
bucks.
They
Exactly.
redeem it. The person brings it to me along with a signed off thing saying this is how much they spent, and then we write a check for that amount.
And so the people that are getting these baskets, there's about 1,000 of them that have attended events in the past at the new farm.
The marketing is going to include direct email to everybody who's ever attended or volunteered. So annually we have over 1,000 attendees, plus all of the other people that have, it's over a 10-year period. So we have a huge email list, and then they have a very big social media following. There's also like Chef Carl and all the other chefs. We will be sharing this as well. So I think it as Creemore is going to be active, engaged in the marketing and helping push this out too. So I just think it shows our rural, for our local farmers, it's an opportunity there is possibility that the cost could be next to nothing to us, because people might not even redeem these. So, we might have.
So there's 1,000 gift baskets, or people are purchasing them?
Currently, we're uncertain about how many people will purchase, but the marketing is based, we usually have 1,000 people attending this event, and we're going to be marketing in the same kind of way that we for this.
Buy this basket of local farm food?
Yeah, so the program is that they are going to buy curated baskets, which include a menu put together from Richmond Station, beer from Creemore Springs, all kinds of fantastic things, including playlists created by the musicians. So really trying to put the whole New Farm experience into a box. And
I think it's a great idea.
it's going to be marketed a little bit too as from Creemore with Love. I think it's going to be on the box. So I think for us to have a presence in that box, it's going out to people that are our existing customers, or the people that we would want to be our customers for our retailers. So I think there's some value there. And as I said, it's possible that they won't even redeem the coupons. So
can we have an expiry date on that then?
I think because, yes, I think unlike a gift card that somebody purchases, we can put an expiry on it, yes.
December 31st kind of thing?
Yeah.
We might even want to go
Why
short.
would be like a year?
Or a year.
Yeah.
Whatever works. The release date currently is targeted for September, for the end of September. The delivery date on these boxes is targeted for the end of September. So it means that we would get some promotion all through September. And so, I mean, it's entirely up to the marketing committee, I guess, to see how much they'd like to earmark as a maximum spend on this.
So we did have a brief conversation about it, and that was the concern. Was it was hard for us to get a dollar amount until we understood more fully how we would be able to promote the Creemore BIA or downtown Creemore businesses, and that's sort of, you've answered some of those questions tonight. I don't know. I'm thinking somewhere in between 500 and 750. I don't know. I have to look at the budget again. I'm not sure I'm prepared to give the exact amount without looking at the budget, but does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
That sounds reasonable. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I like Sarah's suggestion of less certificates, larger amount, like $100 certificates, more like that. And
yeah.
I think it's important because if you have little ones, nobody's gonna feel the incentive to make the drive, but you'll make the drive if you have
That's a tipping point, yeah.
certificate. You're not gonna make the drive for a $20 certificate. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it has a lot of value.
$75 to $100, they're gonna make the drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, shall we say $500 then? 5 tickets of $100 each. Does that make sense to you
Why don't
guys?
we do 10 tickets of $75 each, $750.
Sorry, Nancy, you cut out there. Could you just repeat
How
that?
about 10 tickets of $75 each, so $750.
Okay.
Yeah.
$750, $10, or 10 tickets. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
75 each.
Yeah.
Heather, do you have any comment on that? Like dollar amount or-
I'm aligned with that, 75 to 100.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Jackie, are you thinking that's a good idea?
I think, yeah, like either way, 10, like 10 at 75. Or
I like
it
10 at
doesn't-
75. It's kind of an easy round number. Who's this guy? We got a new person on the BIA here. Hi.
The other thing is that I think we could maybe include this in our social media. I think it's really, I mean, this is an event that has cachet and brings a lot of people. So I think we can use it. Some of the imagery has hearts, so it will integrate nicely with ours. And I will make certain that we have all of the social media assets so that we can support their effort to market this.
That'd be great. Sarah, are you going to lead this initiative then for us?
Yeah,
And then, okay, great. And then what we'll do is if you can just make sure that the marketing committee is linked in terms of getting us those assets or logos or whatever it is, we'll make sure we do a joint promotion on that as well on our social media channels and
Okay.
website.
Sorry, Sarah, when were they hoping to get this out? In September, did you say?
Yeah, so sales are going to begin, I think, the end of August, beginning of September, with end of last week of September is the delivery date on the product.
So do we have
Sorry.
to create a physical certificate, like this physical phone? Or?
But I can easily do that. That's nothing.
Great. Kayla, did you put together a motion? Is that why your hand is up?
Yeah, it's why I'm back.
You pop in every time there's a motion. I love it.
All right. So again, correct me if I'm way out of line, but what I've gathered from this conversation is quite possibly a motion to participate in New Farm's Chef Box giveaway supporting Farms for Change and food banks through the fundraiser and will contribute 10 golden tickets at $75 each, totaling up to $750 with an expiry date of October 2021.
Wow.
Sounds pretty comprehensive.
Sarah?
Yeah, and just one note, I will ensure that we communicate accordingly with all of our members. So if one of these tickets show up at their
Location.
visit, then they, sorry, my brain is done.
On it.
Yeah, I get it.
That they know how to redeem it.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, because I guess starting October 1st, we're going to start to maybe see some tickets. You never know.
Yeah.
You never.
Okay, great. So so who put the motion together? It's Kayla, right? So who's going to, Sarah, would you like to put that motion together?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Sarah, and do we have a seconder? Others like to second it, and all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone and Sarah's in favor, I'm assuming. Okay, so motion is carried. That's unanimous. Thanks, guys. Okay, that's going to be a really exciting promotion. So look, we've got 2 really great promotions coming up for the BIA. So I feel like we're back in business a little bit here. Okay, so moving right along, if it's okay with you guys to move along, the marketing report. So the good news is we have started the work on doing a new website for the Creemore BIA with the help of Kathy Weber, who is from Evocative Solutions, I believe, or Evocative Studio is her company. If you don't know her, I know Nancy and Sarah and a lot of people in town have used her before. I've taken recommendations from lots of people and good references about her as well. She comes to us with about 20 years of experience in web design and graphic design and has set up her shop, or home-based shop, I suppose, in Creemore. So it's nice to have a local person who is very competent, very professional, and is able to create our website for us. So with that, she has already started. Right now, we've got the old website is sort of there, and we're just sort of piecing it together for now. And we're hoping by September we'll have the new one ready. So she's already started on that. I sent an email blast out yesterday about, it's just like a form to fill in, because part of the website is we're going to start to highlight our businesses and really feature the kinds of businesses we have, but really in an emotional kind of way, where we get a photographer in each business to do a little vignette of the types of sort of things they sell. So you really get a sense of the business, and it's not just a list, like a page with a listing. So it's really focused on businesses and on experiences in Creemore, which is different than what, you know, we've had in the past. So so I'm hoping that everybody will fill out that form. Even if they don't, Kathy is committed to calling all the businesses, making sure she gets all the information, the opening hours, the address, their website, Instagram, all that sort of thing. So that's exciting. Heather, did you have a point?
With that initiative, can businesses submit their own photos?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
It's a pain in the butt to get people in my place for pictures.
Oh, yes, true.
And I have a photographer coming in next Tuesday, so I can specifically ask for some that would be matching.
You know what? I never thought about that in the brewery. Of course. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, no problem. I'll mention that to Kathy. Thank you.
We got so many rules.
Yeah, we'll make sure that brewery photos. So that's the thing about the website. So that's going to be along. I don't really have anything to show you yet because it's just in design. The other great thing is that social media has been sort of active these days. Creemore Ontario is back online. I know some of you guys have noticed it and mentioned it.
Good.
Yeah, so thanks to Joey Leeser, who is a student. He's about 17 years old. This guy's amazing. She showed up on Sarah's doorstep, and she was kind enough to direct him my way. And so he's a summer student that's here for the summer in Creemore, and really active and wants to support the community, and has been going around the community taking wonderful photos and posting them online. I approve everything before it goes out, so you don't worry that somebody who's not part of the board is not foreseeing the week in advance. I look at all the photos and all the captions.
He does captions too.
Does the captions too. I mean, I edit them if need be, but yes, we work on the captions together. And then amazing, I know. And the next thing is he's got so many great ideas. The amazing thing about youth and social media. So he's really started a hashtag called My Creemore, which is really neat because it kind of, it's not, we wanted the social media right now to tell a story. We don't really want to invite people into town. We don't want crowds of people. We don't want, you know, but we still want to support our businesses, and we want to start building the foundation of our story. What is the experience of being in Creemore? What's it like in Creemore? What can you expect? And so that's what we're really building on. So then when COVID is over, we can start more full-fledged, come to Creemore and see this event or promotion or parade or whatever. But right now it's really about story, ambiance, atmosphere, and experience. And he's just killing it with that, I think. And so this my Creemore hashtag was all his idea. I really like it because now it's starting to actually pick up. People are using My Creemore. Tourists are coming to town, taking photos and hashtagging My Creemore. So we're making sure that we track all that, and we're watching it all really closely. So it's pretty exciting stuff. He's super excited. I'd love to give him a bit of money. He's offered to do it as a volunteer position, but he's doing so much work that I feel like we could give him a stipend. I think he deserves it. We're gonna hire someone, and he's wonderful, and he's just so professional about the whole thing.
What's his name?
Joey Licer. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. So can I make a motion that we, at the end of the summer, provide Joey with a stipend for the BIA for social media? I don't know how much you guys think we should give him. He's 17.
It's like $250.
You guys have a significant amount of money in the marketing budget that was for a social media campaign already. I think there was even talk of hiring somebody.
There was. So I was thinking maybe 300.
Oh, I was thinking 1,000. I think he's doing an awesome job.
Well, he's only done 100 posts, so no.
I think he would be, if he volunteered to do this, I'm sure he would be happy with $300.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For beer, but apparently he's a kid.
Yeah,
I thought it was
beer, and I said we can't do that.
Heather, I'll take that beer for him. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could offer him a little bit more. We could offer him 400 for July and August. He's worked 2 months.
Is there an opportunity, even though he's going back to school, to still play on his phone and post?
Yes, so I've talked to him about that. He's a pretty active student. I mean, he's on a ton of teams and he's really, you know, got a lot going on in his life. So he has said though that he does come up on these occasional weekends and will take a lot of photos when he's up and then be able to sort of schedule them and post them for us going forward.
And you could send photos?
Yes, also we could do that.
Let's keep this kid entertained.
Yeah, no, he's just fantastic. So Sarah, do you have, yeah, perfect.
I'd be really happy to leave it to your discretion. You're really familiar with the effort that he's made and the value and also kind of what you had intended to spend. I would, as long as it falls within the marketing committee budget, I would leave it to your discretion myself.
Okay. That would be great. I won't go crazy or anything, but I would like to give him some money, even though I know he doesn't expect it. I think, and also to incent him to maybe continue with us and help us out. I think it's great community and leadership building too, for somebody so young, if you want to participate so much in a community group. So, okay, so let me think about that and I'll put it into the marketing budget.
Okay, another idea is that he does volunteer for the summer, but then maybe we could hire him and really secure what we could expect from him throughout the months that he is not in the village volunteering.
Okay, yep, that's a really good point. So I haven't spoken to him too much about that. I asked him if he could continue. He sort of said, well, maybe he didn't know. He was gonna sort of speak to his parents and sort of figure it out. So yeah, let's maybe go that way as well.
They're up quite a bit.
I gotta go ask my parents first.
Oh, he's awesome. Kayla.
So do you want to leave this motion until the end of the summer and revisit it?
Well, I think it's part of the marketing budget, and we've already approved the marketing budget. So I feel like I could just give him a certain amount of money as long as it falls aligned within the marketing budget. Sarah's shaking her head.
Because you had already put money in for social media, right?
Yeah, so we're not actually spending other money that we haven't already approved in a motion.
Yep, all right.
Cool.
Okay, I'll report back on what I think the appropriate amount is to you guys.
While we're talking about social media, can we just all acknowledge the lavender farm quickly?
Oh my God, shake those women's hands.
Sorry, Sarah, yes, absolutely.
I think we need to send them a thank you card. I believe that they have done more for tourism in Creemore than any of us could.
Unbelievable.
I did send them an email this week, and I did thank them a lot for all the business that they're sending us. And they did say that they were so happy to hear that their efforts were helping the businesses in Creemore, and that they were certainly speaking to a lot of the people, visitors, and sending them down to Creemore. And I told them that their efforts were definitely working because people were definitely coming into Creemore, and they were so happy to hear that.
Yeah, they were unbelievable. I probably had 30 people every single day.
Yeah. So maybe a thank you card and maybe one of those nice pins or something we could give to them. And
I can send that up. And also, I mentioned to Lori quickly the idea that maybe we should enter into talks with them about a possible lavender-based event for when we're able to run events again. I think that they are doing a super job, and I think it really meshes well with our brand, and it's just such a wonderful activity. So I think there's so much potential to partner with them.
There's another one coming up, Morrison Farms. They're going to kind of piggyback on the Lavender Hill concept, and they're going to open up their orchards and go splash out social media, and hopefully the same type of thing, but it's just up on River Road. So he's going to have that. So something to look into.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Back to the lavender thing. Sorry, did I see someone's hand? Sometimes I look away and I don't see you. No? Yeah.
Sarah?
I'll talk later.
I'm trying to look to see if anyone's got their hand up. Just in terms of, thank you for saying about the lavender idea. Sarah had mentioned this to me last week and I can't stop thinking about it actually. I think a lavender festival would be amazing once we're allowed to have festivals again. And I totally agree with everything you're saying. And I think it's something we should start thinking about over this winter so that the day we can start having festivals and events again, we're on it. We've already got a plan in place. We just have to execute our plan. Heather.
What's lavender season? Did it just end?
Just ended, yeah.
So, and how long does it go?
July and August, really.
2 months, basically.
Yeah, I think they were kind of six weeks from the time they opened until the time that they closed.
I'm
Yeah,
just thinking this for next year, and I have a innovation call with Batch. So I'm going to ask him what he can do with lavender for next year to promote with the farm, to bring people to come and get beer, like in town.
Yeah,
And-
perfect.
And I think it would be wise for us to think of like that for everything, like integrating lavender into our planters, like kind of putting, we have Purple Hills, all of that is part of our history and our story. So if next year we wanted to really just look at that and play on it really hard, I can imagine big lavender bushes in those amazing planters. It would just look awesome.
I know. You know, that was one of my things, one of my, hey, we should do this. I'm also thinking about something in terms of like farm festivals. Like we've got so many amazing crops around here. So maybe we should have more like lavender festival and the apple festival in the fall. There's tons of sunflowers everywhere. Like something.
Festival, yeah.
I've always thought that we are, I mean, the brewery's an attraction and each business is a small attraction, but the thing that makes us most remarkable is just the physical beauty in agriculture. So if something like the Lavender Farm really proves the potential of that kind of pairing.
It's great.
Heather, do you have a comment?
Yeah, no, I don't hear. I was just thinking, I was wondering if I should tell you what the industry is saying for when we're coming back to life with events.
When?
And I know that we're really excited about things. And so I was on some industry calls today, and it's not as soon as we would like it to be. They're questioning fall of 2021.
Wow.
But in terms of
Apples.
With like numbers over 200.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about this lavender thing is it doesn't necessarily have to be a festival. What we can do is just support the lavender marketing.
Yeah.
So you having
Do some collaboration and
lavender shortbread at the Bank Cafe, lavender. I just think that we could play on it so hard.
Yeah.
It isn't a formal event, that we would be really wise to jump on that
it's
train.
more of an experience when they're here.
It's great.
I think
Keep them in town a little bit longer.
talk to Purple Hills Arts and Heritage Society about getting involved in this as well. I did do a bit of research. I found that there is a lavender festival in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and there's also one in PEC, what's it called? Prince Edward County, sorry. So they both have them, but I don't think it's the kind of vision I have and Sarah has, and you guys probably have too. It seemed like they have like a farm, and then they put like some vendors and some people serving hot chocolate and stuff on the farm, you know what I mean? But I think we see it more as a downtown street event that we also maybe have some sort of shuttles or some. Now there's 2 lavender farms. There's Purple Hill. There's I believe another lavender farm not far from here.
Yeah.
So, you know, playing off both of them
Great.
and sending people for an experience in a lavender farm as well. But, you know, bunting that's purple, like we could do so many fun things and get Purple Hills involved. I was just speaking to Liz Eakins just before the meeting tonight, and she was mentioning that Purple Hills really wants to partner with the BIA more this year and start to think about how we can do stuff together. And I think they come to us with some great ideas, arts and culture, and volunteers that we could sadly need, you know? So it would be so great to partner with them on this as well, maybe. So anyway, I think it's a great idea. I'd love to, you know, start to flesh it out a little bit more and then talk to the people at the Lavender Hill place.
We could strike a committee now. Like, I honestly think that we could get going now on the concept and, you know, working on special stuff. And then, because now we could actually write the budget and concept now, and then we could incorporate it into 2021. And
yeah, brainstorm session for sure.
Yeah, and I think that we could do a 2-prong approach, which one would be like our COVID event, and then we could also dream about a non-COVID event. But I think we should be prepared for it to be, you know, sort of a physically distanced event.
Yeah, we kind of just have to change the way we're doing things. Instead of large gatherings, have sort of experiences where they can come and still show up, but not in a large group in front of a stage.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's put a motion to strike the committee.
I like the opportunities that it's Well, it's not one weekend or one day. It's like 6 weeks of just tying into the marketing and tying into
On social media. Yeah, it's great.
It's not about giant crowds. It's just about a constant flow of people.
Yeah.
So.
Constant, every day was a constant trickle of new people. It was amazing. And they loved Creemore.
They loved Creemore, and they shopped. They were younger than some of the other day trippers. Like now that I'm open and I'm seeing like the foot traffic, it was interesting, really interesting.
And they just come for an Instagram fit picture.
Yep, that's all it was, just a photo op.
But we taking Instagram pictures in downtown Creemore. So if we make it really pretty and do an Instagram photo op that's purple and lavendery like with big lavender bushes, like that's what we want too. So we'll be sure to do that.
You know what you should do in the middle of the lavender thing, because they have people getting engaged up there, you should offer a wedding weekend at one of the churches and decorate it up all lavender.
Oh, goodness.
Married.
Jackie, that can be your contribution.
Play boots.
Kayla.
So I'd like to strike a committee. I'd like to be part of the committee. I don't know if anybody else wants to be part of that committee, but I think the three of us, do we want to start there? And then we would obviously, Nancy would be working on street decor. I mean, we're all going to have to do something, but we could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kayla, can we put a motion together to strike a committee? Does anybody want to lead the committee?
I have a motion for you, and then you don't have to select a chair at this moment.
Perfect.
So here's my
We
thought.
have to have a chair.
We could all co-chair.
You
Yeah.
can co-chair. There you go.
Be honest, we have a
Twa chair.
so.
A motion to create a lavender partnership events committee composed of Sarah, Lori, and Heather. Who would like to propose that motion?
Oh, I can't. Sorry.
Not? Sarah?
And Doug is going to second it.
Doug?
Perfect. And all in favor of a committee? Perfect. All right. Unanimous. I love it. Oh, guys, this is.
That felt like a bird day thing.
Yeah. Like it's really, it feels like we can really see the potential of coming together. Maybe that's what we need sometimes when we have a bit of space and some time to think about events and we're not just always, you know, killing ourselves.
Minutes before they occur.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move on from one more thing from marketing. Sorry, I just wrote it in. Digital Service Squad. So Main Street, Digital Main Street has put together another grant program. Yeah. And before Tim from the Enterprise Business Center in South Georgian Bay was leading it for us. Jackie, you had started this long before I joined, and you got the grant, and then he sort of took it all and amalgamated it with Collingwood and Meaford, and I don't know who else got the grant, but then he sort of helped us, and that was where Ben came to us, and we got a lot of benefits from that. They want to do that again, and they're asking Creemore to join with Meaford, Blue Mountain, Collingwood, I think Wasaga, basically everybody around us, and they'll manage it again, and they'll manage the grant. So are you all in favor of us asking them to continue to manage the grant for us and to apply on our behalf as the BIA? Yeah, that's good. I don't see anybody saying they're really opposed to that, because I did go ahead attentively and said that I think the BIA would be very happy for the South Georgian Bay group to manage the grant on our behalf. And we would not, this means we will not be applying for a grant individually. Is that okay, Jackie?
That's perfect.
Okay. So the other thing is that now that people can now apply for the digital grant, businesses. So there's the two sides. There's the sort of town, village wide side, and then there's individual businesses. And so that grant is now going to be opened again with less videos, less tutorials for people to take advantage of digital media. So that's something coming up. I'm going to try and get the information out for that as soon as I can. Okay, so I'm going to move on then to new business. I don't know what time it is, Heather. Heather made a request that we got it done in 2 hours. Okay. Unfinished business, recommendations for the official plan. So I'd like to turn it over to Nancy now, if that's, oh, sorry.
Question?
Wait, I'm going to stop. Last time we approved the Southern Georgian Bay to take over the management of that grant for the BIA. I think maybe we should do that again through a motion.
Okay, yeah, that would be
So-
great.
So many motions.
I know, I love them though. Just hit them hard all night long.
I've
Motion
noticed.
motion to approve Southern Georgian Bay to manage the digital grant on behalf of Creemore BIA.
Yeah.
Jackie and Nancy, I think, both put their hands up.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Perfect.
So they will manage it on our behalf again, and hopefully they'll include us. It's great. We don't have to do anything.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I know. It's nice. Okay, sorry. So Kayla is gone black again. So we can now move on to new business, unfinished business. So now, Nancy, I'm going to turn it over to you for the official plan.
Jackie, I don't think I sent it to you. I wasn't sure if you were coming tonight, but did everybody get my zoning amendment that I was looking to put forward?
Yes.
Yes. Did anybody look at it? Did you? Okay. Any thoughts? Okay. I'll explain it's been rumbling for a couple years now that we're losing a lot of our retail frontages on Mill Street to professional buildings or like real estate offices. And while I love Water First, they've taken over a huge spot in our spot. And I'm concerned because there is a few of our retail stores that are leaving Main Street, Seasons being one of them. And I'm concerned that a dentist office is going to go in there or another real estate office or some kind of firm that doesn't bring in retail. So what I've asked is, I've been kind of rumbling this around with Lori and Tom, and I've asked to do an altered or additional provisions to the C1 zoning from 113 Mill Street up to 197 Mill Street in Creemore. And it excludes the 139 Mill Street, which is the manufacturing because it's CM. But the primary use is
113 to 1. Sorry, I just don't mean to cut you off. 113 to 197. Can you give us like a landmarks?
That's the BIA. That's right down to the Pottery, right up to Tim's.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Jackie, I forwarded you the email just so you have a copy of it as well.
Let's just open it now. Thanks, Kayla.
So if you look at the C1 provisions now, they're a little more extensive, but what I did is I went through and I picked out ones that I thought were really good in terms of they would keep the vibrancy of preserving the fragile retail segment in Creemore, and without the retail segment will continue to suffer and contract and eventually largely disappearing. That's my concern, and we're all kind of concerned. It's like we're working so hard to get people to Creemore. And if we don't have enough stores to get them entertained or have them, spend their shopping dollars, they're just going to go somewhere else. So I was hoping that we could limit the primary uses to art galleries, farmers markets, hotel or inn because we've got guests and people always coming in for the weekend, which is great, but not a motel. Restaurants other than drive-through and drive-in, so no drive-through windows. Retail stores and retail store, and I was talking to Lori about this earlier, and she told me that hair salons and personal care are considered that. And I thought actually we should put that in there as well, because people come to get their haircut every 6 to 8 weeks, and they're constantly coming in, and they come in, a woman comes in on a Thursday afternoon to get her haircut, but she goes and gets a coffee, then she goes to get a foot rub somewhere, a foot cream or something. They shop. So I wanted to put this forward and see if the board would support moving forward to the members and seeing if we can get this started. Thoughts?
Thank you, Nancy. So basically when we had our last meeting, I think we approved a motion that you and I could sort of go forward in our research. Mm-hmm. And so this is where we come back to you, or Nancy does, with what she's done as research. I agree with you that retail store, maybe did we include spa and?
Well, that's a personal care.
Personal care, okay.
Personal care. Hair salons and personal care.
Personal care could also, would you consider like a chiropractic personal care? So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a professional office, isn't it? Like it's a healthcare.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the impact is the same. It's the same. It's somebody attending an appointment in the village. Yeah. So that's where our judgment is. That's where it becomes challenging when we start defining uses and what's beneficial and what isn't.
And this is not the side streets. These are just the frontage on Mill Street. And for example, we can't walk up to Water First and say, okay, so this is a new zoning amendment, you got to go. what it does do is that if and when water first does go into a larger location somewhere else, then that at that time, that once they vacate, the next tenants that come in have to fall within these provisions.
Unless it's an office. The way I understood it, Nancy, is that offices, if it's a real estate office and they leave and another office follows, that's okay. Is it?
No.
That changes that? I understood from Mara the other way.
Page leaves, the next person that goes in there, it has to follow under these primary uses. My concern is that we're going to end up getting gobbled up because there's not a lot of places to run businesses like a real estate office, a lawyer, an architect, that type of thing. And there's not a lot of spaces in Creemore. So when they come up with these little cute little stores, they take them because they're reasonably the rent is reasonable compared to other places. And they want to stay in Creemore, their families in Creemore. I get why they want to be there, but we're squishing down our retail more and more and more. And then
just to follow on that, and then I'll do Doug and then Sarah, is that I spoke to a commercial real estate investor today, and he was saying that it makes more sense from a commercial real estate. A lot of the people that are buying the buildings are investors, and for him, he said it's a lot lower risk to get somebody in an office that's a doctor or a real estate agent or something than someone who's higher risk, which is someone like me who has a store that you're not sure if they're going to survive and be there in a year or two. Whereas an office that's, you know, a chiropractor or something that is more professional services or you know, they feel that.
I get that. I understand that, but that's
So
still
explaining that to me, and that's why we see some of this coming over, because a lot of our building owners don't necessarily live in Creemore or in Clearview, and they don't all see the needs of the town. Okay, I'm gonna go to Doug and then Sarah, because I said you guys could both chime in.
So, thanks. So I just have one question. So if once offices, let's say they move out, and that's going to open up more retail space, is there the demand there from the retail sector to fill that space? Like you don't want to have offices moving out
There's the other thing. Like
empty.
if we keep on losing retail stores, then the foot traffic coming into Creemore is not going to be it's just not going to be there. So the more retail stores we lose to professional businesses, then the more of a foot traffic, like the whole thing just kind of encaves on itself. So it's like places like, there's got to be cute towns that we can think of that there's a lot of professional businesses on Main Street. So you don't go there as much. There's much to shop for. It's like you don't go to the restaurant and then go out for, you know, shopping with your girlfriends to the local dress shop or something like that. We're trying to keep people to shops in town.
Okay. And what sort of what sort of response have you got from Mara? Has she been working with you on this?
Mara was the one that said, you know what, this is what we can do, and she's done it before in other villages. She said it works. You got to keep it going. She'd be totally supportive of it.
I think part of
fine. Good.
Mara had the suggestion, if I can chime in, that that we actually define what we call a shopping and dining district. Sorry, I can't figure out the lights. I don't know why they're not working.
Doesn't matter.
So we just have a shopping and dining district. So we actually define a area of the BIA zone that is that, and that's where this zoning bylaw that Nancy's proposing, or zoning.
Not the side streets, not the side streets.
So I know Thornbury's struggling with this. I know there's a lot of other towns that their BIAs are saying, yeah, this is becoming a real problem. And we just don't want to be as far ahead as they are, where it's too late for them to turn back. Sarah, I know you had some comments, so I want to make sure you get a chance to talk.
I do. I think I mentioned this last time. I think it's important that we communicate with the investors and the property owners and make sure that they kind of know that we're thinking this way, because I would just hate to not represent them and their concerns. I'm glad to hear that you've talked to them, Lori. I also would hate to leave them in a position where, you know, retail is a changing landscape right now, and it is a difficult business, and I would hate to leave our building owners in a position where they can't recoup or cover their costs. So I think it's really you know, I think that I'm really happy to hear you guys are working with Mara, but I almost feel like we need to kind of have a conversation with all of our membership and have it be really public before we pass a motion or make any kind of statement as a group. I just don't think it's right.
I'm not
for
saying
us
that we're going to
sitting-
present this now. I'm not. This is a democratic society here. I want to go out to the members, tell them this is what we're thinking. What are your thoughts? Is there anything we think we should add to it or take away? Yeah. I
think starting with the bylaw feels really formal and may discourage like a conversation. So I think if we were able to pull together some kind of a meeting where we talked about downtown Creemore use and a little bit of visioning there, with an idea, knowing that we all kind of agree that this is our experience, but having the conversation and at the end of it presenting bylaw concept and incorporating the ideas that people bring forward, I think it might be more palatable than starting with the bylaw. I think I mentioned that at the last time too.
Yeah.
I understand the need
and
an
amendment, but
but I mean, to be talking in those terms before we've actually gone to our membership feels like a decision and an idea has been fully formed before we've actually
we're going to go out to our members to see what they think too before we move it forward.
Yeah, so I think that I think that that's the next step is create so I think that would be
good.
Really important.
Again, it's not, we can't tell anybody they have to leave, you know, the new zoning, but the next one that goes in. We're just trying to keep the.
I don't think
sorry.
very far with that.
Sarah, sorry guys, I'll let Sarah finish and then I'll go to Jackie. Sorry about that.
In terms of communications, I think if we could also have Mara, maybe we could even ask for the assistance of the municipality in talking to our members about the downtown and the OP. You know, that is what she does, and it sounds like she's got some really good ideas about that. So maybe we could really tap on their shoulder and she could talk to us as a professional, because I don't feel that any of us have like a full comprehension, and I'd want somebody there that could answer questions.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have her come to the next meeting, join us.
Jackie, would you like to?
Well, the only thing is, I think because we are a little bit unique in that we're a very small town and we are off the beaten path, that to try to bring in some sort of bylaw that does that, I think is going to be really difficult, and especially could be really hard on building owners as far as renting things out, right? So I think you might get some pushback there, but maybe
we're going to get pushback, and I'm expecting that. But I'm not going to just sit here and wait.
I just let Jackie. Sorry.
I think you might have a better chance if you sit down, like you said, go to the membership and talk about it. But maybe reword it in that maybe the first
say again.
Oh, frozen
time period, but after that, they've got to rent it to whoever's going to rent it. You know.
Sorry, Jackie, we just lost the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, my idea was just more of like maybe suggesting putting it forward to them more in a way that the opportunity to rent to those businesses that you want to have there is maybe the first choice for the building owners, but after a time period, you can rent to whoever is going to rent, so they don't feel threatened, like they're going to have
something we could talk tomorrow about. That's a great, okay.
Yeah, we can't leave our business.
Jackie, and what else might be a good thing too is that if we know there's going to be a large retail space vacating, as a BIA board, we can actually we can go out and start maybe recruiting other businesses in the area to come in. Like maybe Stan's store doesn't want to be at the Blue Mountain anymore. Maybe they would love to have a cute little shop in Creemore. So as a BIA, we should go out and try to recruit.
Or as a township, we had an economic development officer whose job was to go do that. Yeah.
We don't have an economic development officer. There is one in Simcoe County, but there isn't any in Clearview Township. But I like some of your comments, Jackie, about the opportunity to, you know, if after such a period of time, you know, they can't find an appropriate renter, you know, I don't know, but I think all good conversations. I think this is going to be a little controversial. I agree with Sarah.
It's been really difficult. It's been
Oh, really? Okay. And it didn't, well, in the end, didn't.
It was almost impossible to get people to agree, right? So, and because we were not thriving the same way either, right? So, and right now we're not thriving. So limiting people's ability to pay their bills and to rent their buildings out is not going to be really popular at the moment, I would think. So, but if you can put it together in a way that tries to take everybody into, into consideration, including the building owners and their ability to rent their building, you'll have a much better chance, I would think.
Yeah. Okay, so I will work on that with Mara.
Yeah, I think the next step has to be a meeting with
Absolutely, yeah.
with all of us, like with including like all the business owners, all the building owners. I think we all need to come together and really talk about it. I bet you a lot of the building owners agree with you, Nancy, but also have the practical element of just trying to get the money back.
Yeah, I agree. Heather, do you think that's something that could help us do, put together a list of the building owners? I know that at one point you and Karen started working on that. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I have yet to see the list though.
Karen said she had it, so I just maybe thought that she had shared it with you, because at one point she said she was working on a list of all the building owner details, and you had it. I don't have it either, unfortunately.
Yes, I've been asking to. I'll work on it again.
Funeral home should be in there too, because it's a typical small town. It has to have a funeral home.
Yeah, that's it. It's a controversial topic. I think the other thing is that we are not enacting anything at the BIA. We're making some recommendations to the official plan. And I think we have to also recognize that Mara and her team, who are professionals, will look at this and evaluate whether it's sensible or not. And they will decide to go forward on its own merit. But whatever we say, I mean, this is basically our recommendation. And I think we owe it to our members, we owe it to our building owners to communicate with them properly, to let them say yes or no. And if the recommendation doesn't go forward, it doesn't go forward. But at the same time, I feel like if we do nothing and, we all complain for the next 10 years that, there's that we don't have enough retailers or we don't have enough restaurants or something, I think the onus is on us to try to change it. So I think we need to make some sort of effort here. And, we'll see. If it's shot down, it's shot down. But I think we have to do that. So I think what I'd like to propose is for the next meeting, Nancy and I will kind of go back and figure out how we can communicate to the members, whether it's like a presentation that we put together for people. And maybe, the owners don't understand. I think a lot of owners, like I said before, they don't live in Creemore. So maybe they just don't understand. And it's just a number on a spreadsheet for them. So in fact, educating them, about our needs and our wishes and our vision. I mean, this is the one of our priorities this year, and then we talked about it at the AGM, was long-term planning. And this is part of our long-term planning goals, is how our vision the town, how we want to get better. And this is just a small part of that. So so I think by the next meeting, we'll go ahead with we'll have a communications plan and some sort of way to present to building owners. And because I know Nancy nor I wanted to actually have a motion tonight or pass this letter. It was something Nancy put together in terms of a direction, because what we need to have is we need to have a starting point and say, this is where we're starting from, and whether we make amendments or not, this is where we're starting from.
I think just identifying the issues first to get that out to your membership and saying, these are the problems that we see and we need to address them. Let's get your feedback and let's put something together so they feel part of the solution. First, they need to understand the problem, then they feel part of the solution, because trying to present this and get people on board with this now would be, I think, impossible.
I do think that building the relationships between the investors and the community as a whole are going to be the piece that will make it possible. So we really need to connect, and it's not something we've done a lot of. So I think it would be really, really great to talk to them and really put the human face on so they understand the impact that this has on all of us.
Okay. Kayla, did you have a comment?
Just to surmise what has kind of all been said, so I can condense it for the meeting minutes there. Basically, Nancy and yourself, Lori, are going to go back to Mara and see if she can assist in pulling together a public/membership meeting to properly present this idea or recommendation to the BIA membership. Yeah.
We revise that to say have a so that it does, so we just take one step back a little bit to start the communication about this, as opposed to presenting this resolution or the amendment already.
I'd say back it up for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem. I just want to make sure that I get it right because I don't want anybody to misread it, or that's great. Thank you.
We're going to build a list. We're going to communicate with people, and we're going to start to really identify the issues with the downtown with our building owners, our stakeholders in that way, and then start the building. I think building a relationship. I'm not sure which one of you said that, but that's a really key part.
Mhm.
We also have to bear in mind the official plan. I don't know when Mara's hoping to have it done. Nancy, did you have a thought on that? Is it November?
Working on it. They're just working on it now.
Yeah. So we do want to make sure that if we do have recommendations, that we are able to get them in to the official plan, because it could be 5 to 7 years until another official plan comes around, right? So that's why this is our opportunity. And while it's very difficult, and maybe we've done it 20 years ago, my thoughts are, let's just go for it. We'll communicate it. Let's see what happens. It's going to be controversial. It's going to be difficult, but I think there's something in it there.
Yeah, there's those 2 buildings are coming down, and it's going to be a big unit. Like, what's going in there?
I mean, that was the impetus, right? I mean, that's how it started, is Nancy and I talking to Mara about the 2 big buildings in front of me coming down, and then potentially having a very large building put there with up to 3 stories from what we've heard. So we're trying to track down the details on that. We've asked Mara if she could connect us with the person who is investing, so we could talk to them about the BIA and our visions and what goes on in this community and stuff like that, so they have a sense before they just building. They live in a city and then they just put up a lease sign. So I think that's part of our relationship building. So even though it doesn't sound like it, Nancy and I are actually working on various different things like that behind the scenes.
Thank
Sarah.
you, Nancy and Lori, for doing that. This really big thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to Nancy, and I know and Keith has been taking a little bit along the way too in terms of helping get all the documents together. So thanks, Nancy, for taking the leadership. Okay, Nancy. So Kayla, do we have sort of action items around that point? We're comfortable. Nancy, are you comfortable with?
Yeah. I know what I got to do now. We're good.
Okay, so we won't let it drop. We'll have this on the agenda in September. Okay, so I'm going to move on then, if that's okay, guys, to ATVs. So controversial topic number 2 tonight. I know we've already had a couple tonight. So in conversations with all of you and last week, we put together a bit of a statement for the Clearview Township Council from the BIA. I know I've had lots of personal conversations and emails and text messages, as have all of you, from various different members, so that we could really take a temperature of where things are. And as these past weeks about the council meeting and the decision that was voted on by council to prepare a report that gives greater access of ATVs to all Clearview Township roads. So our concern in the BIA is the downtown area, and I think that's something that remains our concern. And I know that all of us had discussed some of the issues that are already existing in the downtown, be it bicycles, be it motorcycles, noise, traffic, parking. All of these things seem to be hot buttons for all the members that I've spoken to, including you guys and members and neighbors. And so we had put together a statement, basically, for Clearview councilors. I'd like to read it and enter it into the official notes here, Kayla, or maybe I'll send you a copy, Kayla, so you don't have to write like mad. But we said the Creemore BIA is writing to express the viewpoint of the Creemore Board of Management in regards to allowing ATVs to access all public roads and notably downtown Creemore streets. The rural and scenic nature of Clearview makes our community a great place for touring in all types of vehicles. Creemore, as one of the municipal settlement areas, is a popular stop for locals and visitors, many arriving in classic cars, motorcycles, and on bikes. By adding ATVs to this already complex mix, we are exacerbating existing concerns of our members regarding road safety, pedestrian safety, parking, noise, and pollution. We believe the BIA needs to work with the various stakeholders, professionals, and municipality to create an integrated traffic and parking plan prior to allowing additional vehicle types into our downtown core. By addressing all types of transportation in a cohesive and professional manner, Creemore's BIA will prosper and provide an exceptional experience that is safe regardless of how you choose to get to our village. So that is the position statement that we had written to all members. It doesn't necessarily say that we are 100% against ATVs as a vehicle or a mode of transportation, but it basically says that, you know, in adding yet another problematic, you know, mode of transportation into Creemore, it does cause us some more issues in terms of what we listed in terms of noise, pollution, traffic, safety, pedestrian safety. I know I've read lots of emails from different business owners saying they're worried about pedestrians because people do kind of, you know, run across the street all over the place here. And they were concerned about that as well. So in saying that, I just want to make sure I want to enter it into the notes today. I don't know if anybody would like to comment, or Kayla?
Helps when you unmute. My comment for you would be to, if it's the board's wishes, to pass a motion to submit this letter as presented to Clearview Council. I would also suggest that the emails that you're receiving suggest to those people sending it, the senders, to also send those to Clearview Council, as they're currently accepting all of this information as they consider moving forward, whichever way they choose with the ATV bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Doug, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I think that's a good move. Not just send it to Clearview Council. I think also the people in charge of drafting the bylaw and the report. So that would be Steve Sage, Mike Ron, and Dan Perot, I would think. I know at council we're getting a lot of emails, and you know, but it's basically up to senior management, up to Steve, Dan, and Ron, Steve, Dan, and Mike, I suppose, that are going to draft this report. They're not seeing all these emails unless this council pass them on. That was one of the issues that I said last night, is that, you know, and the CAO took exception. I said a number of the people that are doing the report, they don't live in the Creemore area, for instance. You know, they're living outside. They're very professional, nothing against them, but you know, they need to have some input from you. And by you just sending it to council, I don't know if that input is getting all the way through to the people that are actually doing the report. And so definitely include Steve, Mike, and Dan in that letter, and any other correspondence as well. I think that those three people should be copied on it as well. So anything that goes to council regarding this, those three people should be copied as well, because they need to know the concerns. So.
Okay, thank you. So I'll take an action that I will forward that statement that we had written on to those three members of Clearview Township staff, right, and ask and obviously invite them to talk to any of us with questions regarding the downtown BIA area.
Right.
Does anybody else have any comments regarding the ATVs they'd like to say? I think we've talked a lot about it in the past.
Move on.
I'm tired of talking about it, but anyway.
I think
submit it to the right people.
Okay, I think we all are. Okay, so we do have a couple more things here, and Heather, how are we doing? Okay, 12 minutes to 9. I promised, Heather. Okay.
You didn't promise. So
I said I'd do my best. Okay, so
I just said, 3-hour meetings are long.
I agree with you. We're doing well tonight, guys. I'm impressed with us. Public washrooms at Station on the Green. So I asked Kayla if we could add this on, and I don't. Sorry, I meant. Oh, Kayla, hi. Yeah.
Hi. Yep. Did you want to pass a motion to submit letter as presented to Clearview Council, CAO, Director, and Deputy Director of Public Works?
My bad. Yes. Sorry about that. Yes.
Girl, you need to speak up.
Is that a motion?
Me?
No, I'm asking Kayla, are you writing that as a motion?
Yes, it should be a motion. That way the BIA is submitting this information to council on behalf of their membership. So I would suggest, yes,
Okay.
putting that in a motion.
Okay. So would somebody like to make that motion? Doug? And Nancy would like to second it. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous, so motion is carried for the ATV. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I realized we needed that. Okay. Thanks, Kayla. Okay, so public washrooms for Station on the Green. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, I wanted to look into this today, and I apologize, I got sort of tied up with my own business, so I didn't manage to figure this out. But the public washrooms, from what I understand, and Sarah may know more about this, the board at Station on the Green has voted to not open the public washrooms at Station on the Green. And part of it is, it's not their fault, we're not angry at them. Part of it is the liability in terms of cleaning and public safety. And I think that's a concern for us as the BIA, because I'm still getting lots of comments from members and neighbors on the street here about the fact that we don't have public washrooms. It's a bad experience for all these people that are coming into town right now that we're so happy to have, and then we're still unable to give them a public washroom. So I think I'd like to move the needle on this one as well. So I don't know if that means we have to go back and offer our assistance, offer to work with them, offer to see. Sarah's shaking her head. You may, Sarah, you're no longer on the board, but you may have some insight here, right?
So I think that the board is a hardworking volunteers that can't take this on. And I think our municipality from the get-go has said that they wanted to support the downtown core business. And this is the #1 way that they could do it. It's their facility. They could support us by putting something in place so that we can open those darn washrooms. They have staff. I think that they are well-trained professionals who could manage this. And I think that it would show some real leadership on their part if they took an active role in supporting the community by opening a few public washrooms. It is something that we all need. And Doug, I would urge you to help us with this. It is a serious issue. It is hard for all of us as business owners to turn people away from our own washrooms. It puts us in a position where we have a liability that we're not maybe protected against as well as a municipality might be. We're also not providing the experience that we want to provide our visitors. So I think this is a #1 way that council could provide that leadership. And I, quite frankly, I'm irate about council not helping us with this one. And the municipality.
Anybody asked them yet?
Pardon me. Yes, I've talked to Doug Measures about this. And, you know, I think that the station board would like very much, they're very sympathetic towards us, but as volunteers, they just can't manage it. And I really think that there's
a motion.
Yeah, this is a role that the municipality could take.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Kayla's gonna, I think she's gonna, I don't know guys, but she might have a motion to get there.
Right.
But no, in all jokes aside, Sarah's really, really right about this. And we have to figure this out because it's halfway through the summer. It's almost, the summer's gonna be over. We haven't had bathrooms. It's our high season in a tourist area. And we have not been able to provide a good experience for people. And people are getting upset and really annoyed with us as business owners when we have to say, no, I'm sorry, you can't use our washroom. No, I'm sorry, there isn't a public washroom. It's embarrassing. So we have to do something. And if we, you know, township has to get a protocol in place where they clean the bathrooms twice a day. I know from talking to Heather this week, Thornbury has got, I know, Heather, I'd love for you to chime in. I know you mentioned about Thornbury public washrooms. Public washrooms are open in all the other small towns. Why can't they be open in ours?
Thornbury does not have public washrooms.
Oh, you don't?
They've brought in portable washrooms. So they have set up accessible portable washrooms with a large hand washing station in their space that would be similar to the Station on the Green sort of area. However, they don't have a community hall in town that has washrooms.
Okay, so Doug, what do you suggest? Doug? Didn't you put your
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I'd like to hear from Kayla first. I talked to Barry Burton about this, and when he gave me the standard line that, because we have to take direction from the county, from the health board, and from the province. So he said that the station on the green weren't willing to open them for the foreseeable future. But I'd like to hear what Kayla has to say. She's probably more up to speed than I am.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Kayla, go ahead.
So I might have some insight to help provide you with some answers and insight for yourself. Station on the green, they're not comfortable just due to the standards and guidelines provided by the province and the Simcoe-Muskoka District Health Unit for cleaning and how often, so frequency, numbers of people, how you would control that. Station on the green board members, I don't want to name anyone just because it's being recorded, but I know that they are investigating the option of a porta potty or porta-john or however you call them. My advice to this board would be to speak with Terry Vachon. He right now is in the midst of looking at the fogging machines, which are being used in other municipalities. I know firsthand that Midland has opened their park public washrooms. They have the equipment. Their staff go in twice a day and fog the facilities for use. The stalls are sectioned off so that it's one, there's an available one, a blank one, and an available one. Terry, like I said, is looking into this so that he can go and open up the washrooms within these standards and guidelines as provided. But my recommendation to this board is to definitely get in communication with Terry. He will know much, much better. It's something that the township is looking to implement. We want to get things open as well. So I can understand your frustration though.
Sarah?
Yeah, I really think that, again, I know that staff often says that they need direction from council on these sort of things, Doug. So I would hope that you would really advocate for this for us. It makes a big difference if we can make sure people can pee while they're here.
Okay, I'm not sure how to go about doing this. I can take something to council. Yeah, I'll work on it this week, and I'll get back to you in the next couple of days with what I've got planned.
Thank you.
How's that sound?
I think that we would be able to speed this up if it isn't in the hands of staff, but if staff are given a directive from council.
Yeah, right. The problem is, directive from council may not happen until the next council meeting, which is not for another month. So I'm just sort of thinking what we can do before that. That's the problem. So.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so maybe what we can do is the BIA can draft an official sort of email to Terry on behalf of the Board of Management, and I will draft it if you guys are all in agreement about the opening of the public washrooms and how important it is for us and the experience in Creemore and for our customers, and we'll go that route, and then we'll just, I don't know what to do beyond that other than sending him an email, trying to call him maybe. I know that we just get stonewalled a little bit with some of these things, and it's frustrating because then they just say, well, that's the public health, and I feel bad for the Station on the Green folks because Sarah's right, they're volunteers just like us, and they're trying to do the best for everybody, and this is a huge liability for them to take on. So I get it.
This is time for government bodies to step up and use some of their resources to support people in a way that's really meaningful. And there is nothing more meaningful than a
Public bathroom.
Public bathroom.
Sarah, would I use some of your language?
I'll have a chat with Terry as well, and I'll talk to Terry. Lori, if you could send him an email, I'll talk to him, and I'm also going to talk to Tom, or maybe either that or Barry, and I'll just see what we can do to move this forward. And but anyway, Lori, if you could send Terry an email as well.
I will do. So, yeah, I will do. And Sarah, I'm going to use some of your language. I might borrow your head on this because it sounds like you've got some nice ways of articulating what you think we should say, if that's okay.
Happily.
Okay. All right, so that leaves our action items for the public washrooms. In-person meetings is our next section. I didn't put this in. I think Kayla might have. Are you still there, Kayla? 11.4 in-person meetings. Is this the point where we ask you, are we still doing Zoom? Are we doing in-person meetings? What's the future look like for us?
Yes, so I did put this on here before it had gone to council last night. It was just a basis for my research to see if there was an appetite to meet in person again. So I could take that back to include in Pam's report that she submitted to council. However, it's my understanding that last night at council, council unanimously voted in favor of continuing the electronic meetings at this time.
It's so easy.
Okay.
So
Okay,
there's
so
an update too. Yay.
So that's the update on that. Okay, great.
And
Is
if
anybody
if I could just jump in, one of the reasons why, at council that I decided that I voted in favor of continuing electronic meetings, particularly with council. I mean, I'm not concerned about your group, but with the council group, I got looking around, and there's a few with some health issues and such, and we're all over 65 or getting close to 65. And but I just got looking at some of the other councillors with health issues, and I thought, just for the time being, we better be safe and stay with the electronic meetings. So that's why, and I think it was unanimously in favor of just staying with electronic meetings. So anyway.
Okay.
But you're all young and healthy, and
But we don't have anywhere to meet, so that would
yeah,
meet requirements, so it's irrelevant.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess we can't meet at Station on the Green. So, because there's no bathrooms, quite honestly. And if you're women.
I mean, really.
These meetings are so long. They're so
All
long.
right, let's wrap this up.
3-hour meeting without a bathroom at Station on the Green. Not gonna happen. Okay, guys. So if everybody else has anything pressing, the next meeting is for September 8th at 7 p.m. Thank you all so much for joining us. I know it's a pain when it's such a nice night, and thanks, Doug, for stopping your family barbecue and joining us. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. So,
Everybody concerns, right?
anyone? Motion. Yeah, done.
Everybody.
Much, guys. Really productive tonight. And is it